Hi everyone, welcome to a very special Christmas live lesson with me, Matt Stead. I hope you're all keeping well and getting super excited for Christmas. Not long to go now. I'm in my Christmas t-shirt. Thank you, Peter, for my wonderful t-shirt. This was a present from the Christmas ukulele retreat. Away in a Manger. If you can hear my voice all sounds a bit groggy and everything, unfortunately I've been hit with COVID this week, so I'm a little bit worse for wear, but I'm okay to do the lesson. And obviously the wonders of technology means I can teach you guys without coughing on you, so you'll be absolutely fine. So just explaining, if I look a bit ragged and croaky, that's what's happened. It's my third time of getting COVID, and it's kind of it hit me quite hard this time, but hopefully it's on its way out. And my only kind of real negative about it is that I can't taste anything, so hopefully it's gone before next week because I really want to enjoy my yummy Christmas meal. So today we're going to learn the piece Away in a Manger, which is a beautiful old traditional melody. It kind of makes me think of sitting on a parquet floor at primary school the week before Christmas, singing Christmas carols. And for me, that's one of my favourite memories of Christmas is being a kid, and that kind of week before where you get really super excited, and you start singing the traditional carols. It's actually quite an interesting one. I'll talk about a bit more about it in a minute, but there's different versions of Away in a Manger. And because a lot of these songs were written as choral pieces, as a vocal melody, many of them don't have what we would think of as traditional chords, which was a bit of a challenge when it came to turning this into a chord melody. But I found ones that I think work with it really well, and I'll talk you through all those in a minute. Hi Lisa, hi Lance, hi Karen. Hope you're all doing well. I'm getting there, thanks guys. It's starting to clear up, but yeah, it's a bit nasty, isn't it? It's still doing the rounds. Just a few things to tell you about. Don't forget, we've got one more Canna before we break up for Christmas. That's going to be next Monday. So if you can make it, that's 23rd of December, Monday 23rd of December, 6 o'clock. I'll be fine by then, I'm absolutely sure. So I'll be ready to sing and whatnot and have a whole load of festive cheer. And we're also going to have our video montage. So if you haven't already done so, today or tomorrow really could do with being the last days. Send me your videos. It could be a short Christmas message, 30 seconds of a song. It could even be a photo, and I'll put a bit of text on there for you. Just send it along and I'll post it online when we do our final Canna, and I'll share it with everyone. It's almost like our kind of video Christmas card to all the students. It's a really nice thing to do. So matt@theukeroom.com, ping them over and I'll include them. Likewise, if you're doing our brilliant monthly challenge, mega challenge, it's our Christmas special, and today is the last day, so get your videos in if you haven't already done so for the challenge. I'll be kind of judging that and picking a winner probably tomorrow or Friday. Thanks, Charis. Thank you. What else did I need to tell you about? There's going to be a new Beatles lesson very soon. I haven't managed to do one this week with being poorly and whatnot, but I'll be back to that in the new year. And also to let you know that we are going to have another new live lesson in the new year. And I thought it'd be really nice to have a look at a few old time songs. And this is a really haunting melody that I learnt on mandolin recently. And I thought, as I was playing it, it would sound really beautiful on ukulele. So what I've done is I've taken the original old time melody and I've written a fingerstyle chord melody version of it. It's really beautiful. See if you can YouTube. There's some gorgeous versions of people singing it. See if you can find it on YouTube. And then when we come back in the new year, this is going to be our first live lesson, 8th of January, 3:30, and we're going to do The Blackest Crow, a really beautiful old fiddle tune that we're going to do on ukulele. So cool. Staycation, love it. Staycations are the best. Nice. Oh, from Haiti, amazing. What a great place for a staycation. Thanks, Usher. I hope you're doing well. Give us a shout if I can ever help with anything. So, yeah. Oh, no worries, Indrani. We shall catch you soon. Yeah, it's getting there, Indrani, getting there. You could probably hear I'm still a bit bunged up, but I'm not as bad as it was. So thanks, Laura. Merry Christmas. Thank you to everyone that came to the retreat. It was such a pleasure to see so many of you and meet so many of you in person. If you do want to come next year, we've already put tickets on sale. Thanks, Linda. So you can get your tickets in. It's on the Ukulele Festival of Great Britain site. We're going to do the Christmas retreat from the 8th to the 10th of December next year. I'm really, really excited about that. Don't worry if it looks like accommodation is booked up. There's still plenty of rooms. You just need to phone Speech House directly because they do a block booking and keep them aside for us. So yeah, really exciting. Okay, let's have a look at our piece for today, Away in a Manger. What I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you the basic melody first. And we're going to talk a little bit about the C major scale and finding these notes on your ukulele. And then what we're going to do is we're going to learn the chords and then we're going to piece them together, and we're going to do it two ways. The first time we're going to put the melody on the first beat of every measure. This one's in 3/4, so a waltz time. And then the second, hey Lenny, hope you're doing well, mate. Good to see ya. And then the second time, we're going to put the chords on the weaker beat, the second beat, and we're going to see how it sounds a little bit different. So two ways of arranging the same chord melody. Let's have a look at the basic melody first. So this song's in the key of C. So let's just have a quick playthrough of our C major scale to get us going. And I'd like you to do this in two different places. It's not on your sheets, but don't worry, I'll talk you through it. First of all, we're going to play our C major scale the traditional way down here in first position. So we're going to do an open C, second string down. Just picking these with your thumb. Second fret for D, open E, first fret for F, third fret for G, open A, second fret for B, and third fret for C. So from the C string downwards, that's 0, 2, C, D, 0, 1, 3, E, F, G, 0, 2, 3, A, B, C. Now, this song is in the key of C, so all of the notes come out of that scale. And by just glancing at the sheet music, you can see there's no sharps and flats, so it's using all of the notes from that scale. But the cool thing about playing in the key of C, particularly with a melody that's in this kind of register, is that most of the melody notes fall on the A string, which is going to really help us do the chord melody in a minute. So let's do the same scale, but this time let's carry on up the fretboard, and we'll go for a high C at the 3rd fret, to a D at the 5th, an E at the 7th, all my dots so far, look, an F at the 8th, G at 10, and then we'll go back to A up here at 12. We could even keep going, couldn't we? Even further up here to B and C. But that gives us the notes from the C major scale down here and up here. And those are all of the notes that this melody is built on, all come from that C major scale. The only two notes that aren't on the A string are the very first one and the second one, and that's because we've got high G, and rather than putting it on your open high G, because some ukes have got a low G, like my one today, we're going to play it on the 3rd fret of the E string, so it works for both high G and low G. So let's have a look at the basic melody then to get us going. We'll go a few measures at a time. So we start with this G note, 3rd fret of the E string. Then we have two C notes down here on the A string, 3rd fret. Both of those are crotchets. Don't worry about if you can't read sheet music, just think of it as a beat each. 1, 2, and then the next two are half a beat each, okay, or quavers. And that's going to be 3 and if you're counting, so Okay, that's your opening phrase. Let's give it a go. 2 G notes, 2 high Cs, and then a D and an E, that's 5/7. Cool. Let's try that one more time all together. Come in after 2. 1, 2. Fantastic. And then we kind of resolve that phrase by coming back down here to this high C again. Okay. And that's our opening, isn't it? If I was to get the lyrics in front of me, I should remember this off by heart, but away in a manger. Now notice something else here. Notice that I'm also thinking about the fingers that I use. Generally when I play a C note on my uke, I'll use my third finger like this, like when you play a C chord. But because this melody is going to travel up the A string, this is a really good exercise in thinking about the fingers that we use. So if I use my first finger for that G note, and the same for the C, I could even flatten it down. That gives me 2 or 3 fingers ready to come up here. And then I can reach back again here. Okay, so one last time, let's put that together from the start. 1, 2. Yeah, really lovely. Thanks, Rita. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. I hope you're getting all ready for Christmas, getting all excited. I certainly am. So let's have a look at the end of that second measure then. Next we go up to 7 and 8. So we're going really high up the fretboard now. That's an E and F. And then we're going to reach up. I like to use my little finger, my pinky, at the 10th fret for a high G. Take it up one more to this A note, way up here at the 12th. And then I'm going to reach back to the 8th fret, back here for another F. So yeah, this will be on replay, Rita. So if you can't watch it now, it'll be available forever. Always archived on my website, mattsteadukulele.com. So from that 7 and 8, 10, 10, 12, 8. Then the melody starts coming down. We've got 5, 7, D, E. 8 again. Notice the fingers I'm using. Don't have to use exactly the same ones, but notice it just makes reaching back easier. Okay, and then at the end, 3, 7, 5, off, 3, and down to this B note, the 2nd fret. All right, then we go back to the start. Notice we got that number 1 repeat up here, which means we go back to the start and we do it all over again from that second measure. Notice we've got a thick line and 2 dots at the end of the first repeat, and a thick line and 2 dots at the end of the first measure. So that tells you once you do that first repeat, we go back to the second proper measure, if you like. So we don't play that G note twice, we play it at the end there, and then we go back to the start. So let's do that. Let's go back to the top. So we're going to start, let's just play that G note at the end of that first repeat, so this G. And then 2 Cs, 3, 3, 5, 7, 3, 3, 7, 8, 10, that's a high G, up to 12, back to 8. And then D, E, that's 5, 7, 8, 8, 10, 7, 7. This time we hit the 3, 7, that's a C, E, and we jump to the second repeat, 5, off, B and C. Lovely. Yeah, you got it. Let us know how you got on for that. Let's try piecing that all together from the top then. So we're going to do the repeat. So we're going to play the whole of the, all of it pretty much to the first repeat. When we get to the repeat marker, back to the second measure, play it all through again. And remember, whenever you get a first and second repeat, you only do whichever time it is, if that makes sense. So first repeat, only play the measures with number 1. Second repeat, completely skip those and go to number 2 at the end. You might notice a little kind of weird symbol at the end above that C chord, which looks like a kind of a rainbow with a dot on it. And that just means a fermata. It means a note or chord of indeterminate length. Basically, when you hit that last note, just allow it to ring out and let your uke tell you when it's finished playing. So don't cut it dead, sort of let it just ring out and your uke will tell you when it's finished playing. Quite a cool little symbol, that, isn't it? Let's try it from the start then. Come in after 1, 2. 1, 2. Seven, 8, 10, 10, 12, 8, 5, 7. Next line, 8, 8, 10, 7, 7, 3, 7, 5, off, 3, 2. Then we hit that G one more time and we go again. 3, 3. 7, 8, 10, up to 12, reach back to 8, 5, 7, up to 10, back to 7, 3, 7, 5, off. Whoops! I made a mistake at the end there. Sorry, I'm going to blame Karen. I saw your comment and I suddenly thought I was going to reply to it and I forgot what I was doing. Hopefully you guys got that last bit. Hi Karen, I'm only teasing. Hopefully you guys got that last bit right. I did the repeat again. So when I do that 7, 7, 3, 7. Back to 5 off 2. And then resolve to the C at the end. There we go. COVID head, I wasn't paying attention. So that's our beautiful, beautiful simple melody. Now let's have a look at the chords. Like I said, it's kind of interesting in a way because a lot of these early church pieces, hymns, or kind of carols, they didn't necessarily have chords written to them. So different organists would play different chords and therefore you end up with all these different versions. I found it hard to find like an authoritative kind of chords on this one. So I kind of had a look through old sheet music and then I worked out the chords which I think basically sound best. Which ones work really well for this. And this is what I came up with. So just to practice the chords, just in case you wanted to strum and sing it and to show you how the chord melody works, we're going to do it really simple with just simple downstrokes. And this one's in 3/4 times, so a waltz. So we just strum 3 times on each measure. Now just notice there's a couple of interesting things that happen in this song. The A minor up here only comes in for 1 beat before the D minor, and the G at the end of measure 6 only comes in for 1 beat before it goes to the C. So that, what is it, 1, 2, 3, the 4th measure along of that A minor, you do 2 C chords, 1 A minor, and then we're straight into that D minor. Okay, you'll soon get the idea as we do it. It helps with that bit. If you play the A minor with your 2nd finger, then you've only got to put 2 more fingers down for the D minor as we go. I'll show you when we get there. Karen said playing up the higher up the neck gives it certain music box quality. Yeah, it's got those nice shrillness to the notes, hasn't it? The main reason though, Karen, that I chose to do it is when we put the chords in, you'll see later, it really helps with fingerstyle chord melody because we don't have to stop strumming when we reach a particular string. We can string all 4 strings and then the melody note, because it's the highest note on the A string, you'll hear it ringing out. So it's kind of a clever way of making chord melody easy as well, which you'll see when we get there. So let's just try strumming this. So let's give it a go. We're going to do 1, 2, and then I'm going to sing and you're going to start strumming a C. In fact, actually, let's do it without the words first. Let's just come in 1, 2, 3 and strum a C. 1, 2, 3, C. Another measure of C. 2 C's now. 1, 2, A minor, D D minor, 2, 3, another 2 D minors, and then a G, C, D7, and G, and then we go back to the top, C, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, A minor, D minor, 2, 3, 2 more D minors, and a cheeky G. This time we do the last measure, F, G7, C. A really nice classic 4, 5, 1 end at the end there. Let's try it for the words. Now, I can't sing this brilliantly, but and I'm no choir boy, but hopefully this will give you enough of an idea how it goes. I'll sing the words. So come in after 1, 2, 1, 2. Away. I'm gonna have to go lower, so away. Yeah, there it is. Sorry guys, one more time. 1, 2. Away in a manger, no crib for a bed. The little Lord Jesus laid down his sweet head. Back to the top. The stars in the bright sky look down where he lay. The little Lord Jesus asleep in the hay. Yeah, lovely. One last time. We'll do it one more time now. You've had a chance to play it through again. 1, 2. Away in a manger, no crib for a bed. The little Lord Jesus laid down his sweet head. Back to the top. The stars in the bright sky look down where he lay. The little Lord Jesus asleep in the hay. Isn't it a lovely melody? Really beautiful. Really, oh gosh, it really takes me back to primary school. Now, let's have fun turning this into a chord melody. I'll talk you through it as we go. This might be quite a short tutorial today because this is really simple. So do ask lots of questions as we go. You'll soon pick it up. So when we do chord melody, we need to work out how to play the notes, which is the melody, the moving parts, da, 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 and then the chords, and we need to work out a way of piecing them together. Now, in 3/4 timing, we tend to put a chord on the first beat of each measure because 3/4 timing, every kind of time signature in music has a pulse. You can kind of think about it as where you would have a strong click or maybe even like a cymbal on the drums. I'll show you what I mean. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So if you're a drummer, you would put a strong beat on 1. It's just how it generally works with waltz time. In 4/4 time, common time, where we normally would play in, you would tend to have 2 beats in a measure, and you put it on 1 and 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or you put it on 2 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. But in waltz time, the strongest beat is 1. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So what I've done in this first arrangement is I've put a chord on the first beat of every measure. You'll notice a couple of rare exceptions where we've got that A minor and the G that come in up here and down here. The reason those aren't on the first beat of the measure is that the chords come through in an awkward place on the last beat. And if we didn't put the chord in, we'd miss out one of the important chords of the song, right? So there I've had to break the rules and put them in a bit of an unusual place. So that's why the chords are there. Next up, notice that all of these chords, to keep it simple when we go up the fretboard and to make the chording way easier so we don't have to do bar chords, I'm only playing these as 3-part chords, 3-string chords. So notice there's no notes on the G string at all. That makes this easier to play as we go up the fretboard. It keeps the sound consistent, which is really lovely. It means we don't have to worry about whether we're playing high G or low G, and it just keeps things simple and beautiful. So that's the reason I've done that. So basically what we do is we take a phrase, so such as this first phrase, which would sound like this as just the melody. Then we put a chord on the first beat of each measure. Now this is interesting because this comes back to what Karen was saying earlier about the notes sounding quite nice as they get up the A string, almost having a music box quality. The other cool thing about putting the melody notes on the A string is we don't have to do anything to alter the chord, but we still hear the melody note coming through really clear. This C note, away, and that's really clever. So it means we get the sound of a C chord, but we also get this high C note coming through. Notice the same on this next chord. Okay, let's try putting that whole first phrase together. So we've got that G note on its own. Notice I'm using my first finger again. 0, 0, 3 for this C chord. We go up to 5 and 7. And we come back to it one more time. Okay. Now you could strum all 4 strings on those C chords if you want. That would sound like this. But just for consistency, I'm just going to strum the bottom 3 strings for every chord. So that gives us our opening. Let's try that together after 2. 1, 2. Notice I'm keeping my finger there as I come back for nice ease. Isn't that lovely? Yeah, really nice. So that's how this chord melody is going to work. We're basically going to play through the chord, but because the melody note is on the A string, it's going to ring out beautifully, and we'll hear it coming through. So let's go up to the next phrase, which starts on this 7, 8, 10. We're going way up the fretboard now. So we have 7, 8 here. This is E, F, G. Okay. And what we're going to do is after we play that 7, 8, this E, F, we're going to strum to 10. Just the bottom 3 strings. Okay. Now the reason that works as a C chord is the notes that make up a C chord are C, E, and G. Up here. So basically when we're going up here and we're playing this chord here, we've still got a C chord because we've still got a C note, an E note, and a high G note, a really high G note. And we have that melody note, the high G note. So it's still a C chord even though we're playing it way up here. Isn't that cool? And we get that melody note coming through. So 7, 8. And then either little finger or third finger and strum. Then we go up here and we're going to strum the bottom 3 strings at the 12th fret. Notice my 2 dots. Now this chord, notice it's an A minor now. And you might think, hang on, that shape was a C chord a minute ago. How come we're doing the same thing at the 12th fret and it's now an A minor? This is just a clever bit of music theory. The notes that make up an A minor are very similar to a C. We've got C and E, like in a C chord, but instead of a G, we've got this A note here in an A minor. Okay, So if we have a look at what notes we're playing when we're way up here at 0, 0, 12, what have we got? We've got a C, an E, and an A. In the right order for the chord, that'd be A, C, and E. So that's why this chord suggests an A minor, which is perfect. It's a really easy way of playing it, and it gives us the sound of that A minor chord, which is really nice. Okay, so let's go from that 7, 10. All right, come in after 1, 2. 1, 2. Up to 10. Yeah, fantastic. Now this next chord's really, really cool. What we've got basically is a D minor chord played way up here at frets 8, 9 and 10, like so. It's a really sweet D minor chord. Now why is that a D minor chord? Let's have a think about other types of minor chords that we know. If we were to take those fingers and do exactly the same chord back here, the same shape, it would be a G minor, right? This is a G minor chord. Well, if you think about it, every time we go up a string, we're moving up in pitch, right? We're going up half a step in pitch. So if this is a G minor, this must be a G sharp minor, A minor, A sharp minor, B minor, C minor, C sharp minor, D minor. Voila! So basically we've just taken a G minor shape right up to 8, 9 and 10, and that gives us a D minor chord. And that's perfect because the melody note at that point is this high F note here. So we get that sound of the melody still coming through, which is really lovely. Now, if this is kind of interesting, right? Well, I think it is. You might not. But the reason I've kept things simple with these 3-part chords is if you wanted to do that as a full chord using a G string, we'd have to cover a note, because whenever we take a movable chord up, let's say we played that G minor with our last 3 fingers like this. If I wanted to turn it into a movable chord, I have to either bar or cover the note on the G string like this. And that's quite an awkward shape, isn't it? If I was to do that up here, it would look something like this. Okay. And just by having that finger needed on the G string, it's quite a difficult chord for a lot of people to finger really quickly. But thankfully, there's enough of the chord down here that we can just play the bottom 3 strings and it keeps it nice and consistent. Now, that's not just me cheating, just in case you're worried. Thanks, Laura. That's not me cheating, just in case you're worried. If you look up fingerstyle books, look up Jeff Peterson's, Paul Mansell, Sam Muir, a lot of people will use these 3-part chords as they go up the fretboard for consistency, avoiding that low G and E's as well. So don't worry, we're not cheating. This is a cool way of arranging and playing, and it still sounds really beautiful, which is lovely. So that's that 8, 9, just think G minor shape at 8, 9 and 10. So that allows us to play the whole of the opening line. We're going to ignore the last 2 notes here, this 5 and 7, because they belong to the next phrase. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do it really slowly. I'm going to talk you through what I'm doing, and you can either join in both times or just listen the first time and then join in the second time through. So I'm going to hit this G note, 0, 0, 3, 5, 7, D, back to C, 7, 8, to 10, to 12, and then we reach back here. That chord will take the most getting used to, that one there. Let's try it together. Come in after 1, 2. 1, 2. 7, 8, 10, up to 12, and back back to that D minor chord. That's a tricky bit, isn't it, getting back to there? But you'll get to have practice. Really lovely chord. Then the next thing we do is we go back to this 5/7. That's a D, E. And then notice that I'm using my first and third fingers for this bit. Because then when I go to the D minor at the start of measure 6, I can take this index finger up to the 7th, no, one higher, to the 8th fret. And then I've only got to put down 2 extra fingers on top to get this D minor chord again. Okay, so from that 5/7, that will look like this. These last 2 notes at the end of this line, it will look like this. And notice my finger's in the right place for this note on the 8th fret. Yeah, really nice. Then the next chord we've got is a G major chord, just for one beat. And the chord shape that you're going to want to play will look something like this, barring the bottom 3 strings of the 7th fret, reaching up with either your 3rd or 4th finger to the 10th fret up here, like this one. Now this is basically a C chord that's been moved up, because if we were to play C with our little finger here, remember I'm just playing the bottom 3 strings. If I was to move the up one and bar this 1st fret, I have a C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G. If you wanted a full G, you can also bar the whole of that fret and play the note on a G string, but it works really lovely, just these 3 here. Isn't that lovely? So any chord in the world can become a movable chord if you just take it up the fretboard like so. Okay, so from this 5/7 one more time, if I put that together now, I've got 5/7, that D minor again, then the chord shape I was just showing you, and then you can just bring your little finger back to this 7th fret for this C chord. Okay, and then 3/7. Again, a bit of a reach here, so I'm using my first and my little finger. Lovely jubbly. Now, next chord, we've got this D7 here in the first repeat. And again, this is a kind of interesting chord shape. If you're not into the theory, don't worry, you can just play it as is indicated and you'll be absolutely fine. But what's happened here is I've taken a movable A7. So say you play an A7 with your 2nd finger like this. If I was to move that up, that would give me an A sharp 7, B7, C7, C sharp 7, D7. So this is where the chord shape originates, but because we're only playing those bottom 3 strings, I only need to do this mini bar down here, because I don't need to worry about this note up here in the bar chord. Isn't that cool? So it makes it almost like a G minor 7 shape that we've moved up. And it gives us the sound of a D minor, but it gives us this nice high D note here. Okay, so that's your D7, open A, C note, and then we just play a G chord all the way, bottom 3 strings. And again, the melody note is there on the A string, so we don't have to do anything to that G chord other than strum it. So if I go really slowly from the 5/7 up here, let's have a listen to that second line. Okay, I'll talk you through it. So 5/7, D minor shape, and then this G chord, little finger at 7, 3/7, that funny D7 chord, take it away, open A, C note, and a G chord, like so. Yeah, fantastic. And it takes you back to the start then. So at this point, we would hit that G note at the end of the first repeat and go back to that 2nd measure up here, that C chord. So let's do that. Let's hit that final note on the first repeat, that G note, and then we'll go from the 2nd measure up here, and we'll try piecing that all together. And then when we get to the bottom, I'll talk you through this repeat. All right, so this is like we're playing it through the second time. So here we go. After 1, 2, hit this G note. 1, 2. 5, 7. 3. 7, 8. 10. 12. And then a D minor chord. 5, 7. Same chord again. This G chord. 3, 7. Now at this point, the second time, we've got this F, G7, C chords at the end to finish. So we're going to have to alter things up a little bit. So why have we ended up with this unusual chord shape at 5, 5, 5? It sounds right, okay, sounds right. And we've got the right melody note, but it doesn't look anything like an F chord, does it? It's kind of an unusual one. Well, let's have a look at how I've come to it and how we've ended up with that shape. So say I want to play an F chord up the fretboard. One way of getting an F chord is the same way we got this G chord here. Taking a C shape up here until it becomes an F. I'll show you what I mean. C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F. But the melody note at that point is this note, this 5th fret of the A string, this D. If I played a bit before it, it's this note here. So we need to add this note to the chord, and we need this note to be the last thing we hear on the A string, because if I put this little finger down for a normal F chord up here, I hear this note, but I need this one. So basically I've altered this chord by taking away this note and replacing it with this one here. So we end up with a partial F chord and then an open A. Next bit's more straightforward, just G7, bottom 3, and a C chord. Isn't that lovely? So that grand finale, if you like, second repeat, bar the bottom 3 at 5, open A, G7, and then a C chord here. There we go. No worries, Charlene, you can catch up anytime, don't worry. Nice to see you. Hope you're doing well out there. Merry Christmas. Not long to go now, is it? It's scary. I was checking through all Sharon's presents, and I think I'm still waiting on 2 to come in the post, so I'm hoping it'll be here before too long. Bit scary, isn't it, when you're relying on the post, but fingers crossed. Okay, so that's the whole of this chord melody version. In a minute, I'll show you how to put the chords in a slightly different place. But should we give this a go really, really slowly? I'll come in on close cam and I'll take it dead slow. Don't worry if you're not able to play along with it straight away. You can always practice just the melody or just the chords and then come in with this later when you've had a chance to practice it. But do give it a go. It's such a beautiful melody and it lends itself really nicely to this chord melody way of playing. Let's give it a go then. I'll come in on close camera and I'll go from the start. I'm going to start this G note after 1, 2. Here we go. 1, 2. Up to 7 and 8. That funny D chord. Then we come back to 5, 7. Second line. Funny G chord. 3, 7. D7 here. Open A. And then we come back to this G chord. Then we hit a G note and right back to the start. 5, 7. 7, 8. 10, 12, 5, 7, same chord again, G chord, 7, 3, 7, and second repeat, bottom 3 of 5, open A. Really nice. I could do it one last time, and this time I'm not gonna talk all over the top and ruin it. So hopefully, as long as I can get this right, you can really enjoy it and play along. Here we go. 1, 2. Isn't that lovely? Really sweet, beautiful melody. I love these old carols. They've got like almost like a touch of almost like a touch of melancholy about them, haven't they? Which kind of really appeals to me. I love that kind of melancholy, sentimental side of Christmas. It's kind of, I think Christmas has to have a touch of melancholy about it, doesn't it? All those memories and everything. I think so, anyway. So let's have a look at this other version. Why have I got two versions? Well, sometimes it's nice to put the chords in slightly more unexpected places because it changes the feel of a song. You might have heard drummers, they sometimes joke about this in concerts and stuff, that they want people to clap on 2 and 4 rather than 1 and 3. Whenever you put the chords on not the strong beats, not the 1 and the 3, or the 1 in the case of 3/4 time, it gives it a slightly different feel. Some people think it gives the song a bit more forward momentum. You'll kind of see it as we play. So what I've done is this time, rather than the chords being on the first beat of every measure, this time they're largely on the second beat of the measure, the one in the middle, to give it a slightly different feel. Otherwise, it's almost the same. The only trouble is sometimes the chords change slightly because they're on a different melody notes. We have to alter them slightly, and hopefully that's interesting in itself because it shows how the chord melody is working, right? So let's have a look at this version. Now, just like with the first version, a bit of a caveat, the chords aren't on every second beat because of that pesky A minor and G chord, which come in on the last beat in a measure. So those have to be included as well, otherwise we miss them from the piece. So those are the two chords, and that sneaky F down there, the two chords, 2 or 3 chords that kind of break the rules, if you like. But otherwise, the same process is happening. Let's have a look. Let's kind of take a look in a lot more detail. Remember, these sheets are available. You can buy them for £5 on my PayHip. But if you're a member on my website, which most of you guys are, you get these for free in the members area. You'll also find them, all of the tabs that I do for absolutely everything. If you're a member, you get the whole lot as soon as you join. Go to Learn, and then right at the bottom you'll see one that says tabs and resources on my website, and you can access any of these at any point at no cost. So hundreds of arrangements to go and check out if you enjoy this one. Oh yeah, thanks Karen. If you can hit the thumbs up for YouTube on the actual main physical video, that would really help with the algorithm and all those what's its as well. A couple of quick reminders as well, just before we do this final version. Don't forget that I've got another live lesson coming up to start us in a good fashion in the new year. I've brought the live lesson forward because normally it would be on the 1st of January, which wouldn't work because it's a bank holiday and everyone's celebrating, right? The first day of the year. And then I didn't want to have to wait until the 14th. So this first one I'm going to do on the 8th, and then we'll just go every fortnight from there. And we're going to look at a beautiful, I'm really I find this melody absolutely beautiful. A beautiful old-time bluegrass piece called The Blackest Crow, which I think is really gorgeous. And I've done a full chord melody arrangement with all the sheet music and tabs that you can download in advance as well and play along. So that's going to be our first live lesson back on the 8th of January. And then also don't forget, if we've got a special Christmas Canacapella coming up next Monday. So Monday 23rd of December, join me at 6 o'clock. Even if I've still got this horrible COVID cold, I'm going to do it because it's last one before Christmas. I love Canacapella, so I don't want to miss it. So we've got loads of sheets to play from. In fact, probably too many to do in one night. So what I might do is take requests, and we'll do whichever ones you guys choose. First come, first served. How about that? Be like a real open mic night where you shout them out. That'd be good fun. You can find those sheets on the website as well. Just look up Learn Ukulele with Matt, and then go to the Canacapella page. Okay, so let's have a look at the last sheet and I'll talk you through this one. So it won't take long because it's pretty much the same thing as we were doing before, but this time with those chords on the second beat. So we start the same way with this G note. Now this time, instead of playing the chord on the first beat, whoops, I'll do that again. Notice now we've got the chord on the second beat. I'll play them back to back and see if you can feel the change. And then this is the second version. It's not much of a change, but as you get into the song, you'll notice it does change the feel slightly, putting the chords on the second beat. So we start with this G note as before, then we hit the high C on its own, just a single note, and then strum. Okay, so away in, yeah. Then we've got the 5 and 7 as before, D and E, back to this high C, and then we strum afterwards. So we're putting the emphasis on different syllables, if you like. Away in a manger. It's the second syllable of each word, isn't it? Let's do that together after 2. 1, 2. Okay. Then we're going to carry on that process. We're going to go up to 7 and 8. That's a high E and F. Little finger up here for this high G note, 10. And then we're going to strum on the second one. We're still going to strum on 12 because that's a new chord, an A minor, so it's important to put it in there. So 7, 8, 10 on its own, and then as a chord, and then 12. Then we're going to reach back to the 8th fret of our first finger, and then gives us a bit of time, doesn't it, to put that chord down afterwards. Some ways it's easier, this version, because it gives you more time to get into that chord. Okay, let's put that whole first line together. Come in after 1, 2. 1, 2. Strum. 5, 7. Strum. 7, 8, 10. Strum, strum on 12, back to 8, and strum. Yeah, brilliant. Then we come back to that D and E, 5 and 7, and we go to that D minor chord again. Lead with that finger again, up like that. In fact, the nice thing about this is we have the note on the 8 first, don't we? So we have the, which buys you a little bit of time to put those 2 fingers down. I'll do it again from the 5, 7 up here so you can see what I mean. 5, 7, 8. And then you can put the chord down, so yeah, there we go, like so. Oh, got a nice message from Paula, let's see. Oh, thanks, Paula. She's going to suggest me as her favourite kind of amazing teacher. Oh, health problems and then a car wreck. I'm really sorry to hear that, Paula. We've our admin team at Learn Ukulele Map, we've had some health challenges this year, and it's amazing, isn't it? We mentioned this in the Christmas message. We're going to play it at the Kanakapila. Ukulele, it kind of brings so much peace and relief, doesn't it? I find that anyway. It's just something magical. Sometimes just strumming a single chord, and it just feels like a breath. It's incredible, isn't it? So I hope it's brought you some happiness, Paula. That's really lovely. It's nice to hear. You're from Kentucky. I've got a Kentucky mandolin. I bought myself a new mandolin a couple of weeks ago, and it's called a Kentucky mandolin. So one of my favourite places. Okay, so let's have a look then. So that's our D minor in measure 6. Okay, so it's still quite tricky from that 5/7. We've got that 5/7/8, first finger down, and then we're going to put that G chord in again. That's really important. Bar the bottom 3 of the 7th fret, little finger up here at 10, and then just pull back to 7 as before, and strum. 3/7/5. Notice I'm using several fingers there. You don't want to have to do that if you use multiple fingers. It just smooths everything out beautifully, which is nice. Now, the first time we played this, do you remember when we did the D7 chord? We did it on this note, so we ended up with this shape. Well, this time, because the chord is coming on beat 2 rather than beat 1, it ends up on the next note, which is this A note. So we're actually going to play the chord in a different place. We don't need it here now. We need it on this open A note. Now, this makes it really easy. If you think about it, a D7 we can play just like this, a Hawaiian D7, right? Like so. That'd be a kind of classic Hawaiian D7. But remember, we're only playing chords on the bottom 3 strings, so we don't need this finger. And this is what we end up with, 0, 1, 0. Sorry, I should say 0, 2, 0. Isn't that interesting? So it comes from this chord, but we end up with this shape, 0, 2, 0. So from this 3/7/5 here on measure 7, it will sound like this. Then I reach up to 3 and 2, C, B, strum a G chord. And that takes us to the end of that phrase. I'll go from this 5/7 one more time up here, coming after 1, 2. 1, 2. G chord. 3/7/5. Funny D7 chord. That's it, up to C, B. And then we can just put that G chord at the end. If you use that second finger for that B note, you can hit that G chord. Really beautiful. Then we go to the top again, G note. And then we start the second measure, C note, strum, 5/7/3, strum, 7, 8, 10, strum, strum on 12, back to 8, and we can put these 2 down. Lovely. 5/7 again, up to 8, strum, funny G chord, back to 7. Now this time, after this 3/7, we go to the grand finale, and again the chords are in slightly different places here now, because the F chord isn't on the first note of the beat of the bar. So the first time we had to play it on this D note, so we ended up with this funny F shape up here. But now we're going to put a chord on the second beat, which is an A note. So we're going to use just a bog standard F chord. But again, we're following our rules, so we're not going to bother with that note. We're just going to play the bottom 3. Then we follow it with a G7 chord. Hit the C note. and strum. Really nice. So that second ending is actually a lot easier in one way because you've got this 5 here. F chord, G7 chord, C note, and the C chord at the end. All right, let's try putting that all through together then from the start, and we'll give that a go with the chords on the weak beat. Right from the top, come in with 1, 2. 1, 2. 5, 7. Strum. 7, 8, 10. Strum. Strum on 12. Back to 8. Lovely. 5, 7. 8. Strum. G7. Back to C. 3, 7, 5. G chord. Then we go back to the top. Five, 7. Second repeat now. 5, F, G7, C. Yeah, well done guys. Now that's a bit harder, isn't it, in places, because we've got that chord on the second beat, which does kind of make it a bit more to think about in some ways. Hey Jeffrey, thank you. So kind of a little bit something different to think about, which is interesting there. So what I'll do to finish off then, I'm going to hang around and take any questions on that. Anything uke related, I'm here to help. So give us a shout and I will help as best I can. What I'll do whilst I'm waiting for your questions to come through, and type them away anytime, any questions you've got or any comments, it'd be lovely to hear. What I'll do is I'll play the first version with the strong beat first, and then I'll immediately play the weak beat afterwards. And you can kind of compare and contrast and see which you prefer. There's no kind of right or wrong with this one. It's just whatever you think sounds nicer. And let me know what you think in the comments. It'd be interesting to hear. I'll come in on close cam for both. Okay, so this is chord melody with the chords on beat 1. Whoops. Excuse me. Now, same thing, I'm going to put the chords on the weak beat. Whoops. There we go, lovely. Now, I told you I had COVID brain. I made a couple of errors in each of those just to show that nobody's perfect, especially not me. But I'd be interested to know whether you had a thought, whether you like the strong beat or the weak beat. I think each has a slightly different feel, which is kind of interesting. Now, a couple of ways that you can use these. You can either think of it as when you're making your own arrangements, making a decision, either doing all of the chords on the strong beat or the weak beat, or you could use it to lengthen the arrangement. So you could actually stitch these two together and play it through once doing the strong beat and once doing the weak beats. And that's a nice way of lengthening an arrangement, because remember, this is just one verse, and if you were to perform this at an open mic or a concert or something like that, it'd be over in a minute and a half. So you kind of need to think of a way of lengthening these things out anyway. So that's one of my favourite things to do, is actually to put a fingerstyle chord melody together, but just change where I put the chords, because it kind of changes things a little bit, which is interesting. Carol's just asking, that D minor is what other chord moved up fretboard? Great question, Carol. Let me just have a look. So that one, so the D minor is a G minor that's been moved up. I'll show you again. So normally we would play a G minor like this. Okay, down here. Kind of looks like an F7 that's been moved down, every finger down a string. If you think about a G major looking like this, a G minor has this note, this B note, flattened. So the third note of a major chord is flattened to this note, which gives it a sad sound. And then what you can do is you can take that up the fretboard. Because we're not playing the G string, you don't need to worry about covering anything up here. So G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, and then D. So we've taken a G minor and turned it into a D minor. So think of it as a movable G minor shape, Carol, that we've taken up for that one. All of these, if you analyse any of this stuff, go and have a look at some other tablature from other teachers. It's a really good thing to do. See if you can, when you work out these chord melody chords, rather than just thinking about them as numbers, think, where's that chord come from? Because it helps your understanding, which is a really cool thing to do anyway. It's interesting because it shows how the arranger has worked out how to do it, but it allows you to do these things yourself as well, which is a really cool thing. So that's the way to think about it. Good, thanks Pam. Said pace was really helpful. Ear prefers the chord on the first beat, more familiar. Yeah, totally. And of course it depends on the piece, Pam, and everyone. Which you prefer, whether it's on the strong beat or the weak beat. You find that kind of more upbeat songs, particularly dances and things like that, they sound nicer with the chords on the weak beat. But if you have a kind of a bit more straightforward or melancholy, slow song, it sounds better with the chords on the strong beat. It's kind of an interesting thing, isn't it? Some formats, like reggae music, is very much all about the offbeat, isn't it? Which is interesting. So yeah, have a go at both, and you could also have a go at making your own arrangements. Now you know how it works as well. So yay! Oh, that's good, Linda. Good going. It's all that amazing tuition at the retreat, Linda. It's kind of it's taking you up a notch, which is amazing. Love it. Oh, thanks, Asha. That's great to hear. Where in the UK am I broadcasting from? At the moment, I'm in a little cupboard. This used to be my walk-in wardrobe. This one, believe it or not. And I'm in the Forest of Dean, specifically Longhope, which is in Gloucestershire. So if you know the UK, just kind of about 20 miles west of Gloucester. If you don't know the UK, it's kind of near Wales. Forest of Dean's an interesting area because we're kind of west of the River Severn, but we're not quite in Wales, so it's kind of like its own little unusual area, which I love. Shell's just asking, what if you took the sheet music and shifted it to the left by one beat? What was the second beat is now the first beat. Would it make it easier to play the weaker? Just trying to think. Kind of shell, yeah, kind of. But I prefer to just leave the melody exactly as it was, because if you were to shift all the melody notes over to the left, I know exactly what you mean. It almost makes the chords go from the weak beat to the strong beat, doesn't it? But even notes have a strong beat and a weak beat, so even as a melody, I'd keep them exactly where they are, to be honest, Shell, if that makes sense, and then get used to thinking about it as beats 2 and 4 and so on and so forth. So yeah, I get what you're saying, but I would keep them where they are, keep those melody notes where they are, and then shift the chords about. And it's quite nice because you can see where they fall in the measure then as well, which is kind of interesting way of thinking about it as well. Sometimes something that I didn't mention is occasionally when you do the offbeat version, I'm going to see if I can find an example. Let's go to this one again. Occasionally you get a chord that falls on the offbeat where there isn't a melody note. Let's see if I can work out which it is. If I play it again, see if you can spot it. If I kind of say the words as I play it, you'll see what I mean. Away in a manger, no crib for a bed. There's one. Do you see that chord there, that D minor? It falls on a non-melody note. So if I was singing, it falls on a space, if you like, a rest in between the notes. I'll do that again. Away in a manger, no crib for a bed. That chord there, there's no melody note there, no word. So if you want to, what a lot of musicians will do, I've noticed people like James Hill and Jake Shimabukuro do this. When they put a chord there on a beat that doesn't have a melody note, they'll hit it really lightly, and it makes it almost like come into the background, and it gives it a 3D effect. So I'll play that again, and this time when I hit that D minor, I'll do it really lightly. Have a listen. And what it does is it kind of differentiates the melody from the harmony, if you like. I think that's pretty much the only one in the whole song. So when you hit that D minor in this version, keep it nice and light. Just a little bit of a hint if you ever get one of those chords. I think that's really nice as well. Mary's going for the first beat as well. Yeah. Oh, good. Thanks, Mary. It helps that it's a beautiful melody, doesn't it? It's just such a kind of memorable but gorgeous melody, which I really love. Gorgeous. I find Silent Night kind of similar. It's got that really beautiful kind of simple quality to it. And I think the fact that there's no sharps and flats, all of the notes come from the key, it keeps it really beautifully straightforward sounding, which is really fantastic. Oh, thank you. Thanks, Terriers. Thank you. Hopefully I'll be feeling better soon. I think spoke too soon. There's my cough. I think the COVID's on its way out just in time for Christmas. Like I say, the only negative thing about this COVID at the moment, I've been through the worst of it, I think. Saturday, Sunday, Monday and Tuesday, I was really rough. I was just so full of... Oh, I won't go into details because it's icky, right? But it was horrible. But I feel like I'm starting to get to the road to recovery. But I've never had this with COVID. I've had COVID 3 times. But this time I've had the taste and smell thing has gone completely. So even though my sinuses are cleared up, I can't smell anything. I did a test earlier. I thought I'd just test it just to make sure I'm not going mad. And I had a Cadbury's Celebrations. Those that are on the treat will giggle at this because I did a tease about only giving them bounties from Celebrations. But I had 3 different chocolates from Celebrations and I couldn't tell which chocolate was which. so I can't even taste chocolate. How sad is that? So I hope it gets better before Christmas, because we've opened the celebrations, the chocolates, the roses, and I want to smell and taste them all. And I'd be devastated if I can't taste my Christmas dinner. Everyone complains that I put too much salt in when I do my roast dinners, so it might be even worse this year, because I'd be like, more salt, can't taste it. But yeah, oh, Carol's lasted 4 weeks. Oh my goodness, yeah. Oh dear. Yeah, I do get the nauseous thing as well, Carol. That's been frustrated. I think I've actually lost a little bit of weight because I haven't really felt like eating anything. Partly because I can't taste it, so it all feels like a waste of calories, to be honest. But yeah, I hope you improve soon. It's still quite nasty, isn't it? I know it sounds really complacent, but almost forgot about COVID for a while, and I had that weird headache between the eyes, and I think that was what made me think it was COVID. So I took a test, and straight away that was what it was. So yeah. Oh, back to the music. Thanks, Karen. You've brought me back to the music in a good way. Karen's ear is drawn to the first beat. It definitely is interesting, isn't it? Oh, don't forget to rest. I know. So yeah, it's interesting. Everyone seems to be going for that first beat. I guess it's got more of a straightforward feel to it, which is super nice. So I think I'm with you. I think I would go for that first beat as well. I think it's sweet, isn't it? Fantastic. All right, guys, don't forget in the new year to join me again on the 8th of January. I know it's a bit of a wait. I'm going to have a bit of time off over Christmas. So remember, we've still got our Canacapila live jam on Monday night. I can't wait. I'd love it if loads of you join me for that. It's going to be loads of fun. We're just going to do loads of Christmas songs, rifle through them, Christmas carols, Christmas pop songs, all sorts of stuff. That's this Monday at 6 o'clock. And then I'm going to be off until the new year. I'm going to be back to it I think second week of January. So I'll be back to it on the 6th of January. So come and join me then for another Canacapila on the 6th, and then our first live lesson on the 8th. Hopefully I will see you all on Monday, but if not, do have a wonderful, wonderful Christmas. Take it easy, stay safe, don't get COVID like I did. Take care of each other, have a wonderful time, and I hope Father Christmas brings you a new ukulele. Or if it's not a new ukulele, maybe it'll be a nice set of strings or a strap or something. Have a wonderful Christmas. Thanks for all of your support this year, guys. I couldn't do it without you. I literally would not be doing what I do today if it wasn't for you guys and all your support. So thank you massively for all of the members of my website, everyone that's joined me for these live lessons and Canacapilas. It's been so much fun, such a wonderful year. It's so fabulous to meet some of you this year at the retreat and the festival. That was really special as well. So this will always be a special year for me. Maybe I'll see some of you next year. We've got the cruise, which I cannot believe I was booking some of my excursions yesterday, which I'm super excited about. So we've got the cruise in March, end of February, and then back for another summer retreat, and of course all the fun stuff on the website. If you're not already a member, best way to support me, go to Learn Ukulele with mattsteadukulele.com. It's £8 a month for the main 3 courses, or £10 a month and you get absolutely everything. Video submission, 10 courses, the new Beatles course, you get the worksheets to every live lesson, all the fun stuff. So come and join me if you can. Really appreciate it. Right, take care everyone. I think I'm running out of breath and running out of steam, so I'm going to go and lie down and take all your advice and take it easy. Hopefully see some of you on Monday. If not, Merry Christmas and a wonderful Happy New Year. Much love everyone.